Hi, this is Miriam from Keto My Way. Here I am at home for a change. I always do my videos on my lunch hour at work. It's been a little nerve-wracking getting used to being back at work, but it's okay. I don't have too much to talk about, which is so unusual for me, but let's go with that. So I wanted to show you a couple of products, and then I wanted to show you a project that I'm doing. First of all, this is a product that I saw it on the Keto Evangelist coaching site, Premium Heavy Cream Powder. The only thing in it is sweet cream solids. There is no carbohydrate, okay? And there is just no protein, and there is just fat. Let me see, 3 grams of fat. And somebody had asked if it was an okay product, and it is. Of course, real fresh cream is the way to go, but I thought how helpful this would have been in California. When I had coffee in the morning at my sister's place, I had, of course, gone out and bought heavy cream, but it would have been so nice to have this at the hospital. So I think what I'm going to do is make a couple of containers in one of those snack baggy sizes and just have it with me, so that if I ever want a cup of coffee away from home, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I just thought that that was a really nice product. Another product that I wanted to show you, and this is Dr. Berg's, I don't know from the lighting, Dr. Berg's electrolyte powder. Love him or hate him, he has some good products. He made some of his products out of a need for products. And the reason I use this is that there are 1,000 milligrams of potassium in this. Most pills that you get have only 100, but your daily need is close to 4,000. You can get a lot of potassium out of leafy green vegetables. Like sometimes I make a shake with spinach or kale and ginger. And you know I eat salad every day. So I do get a nice dose of dietary potassium. However, those little pills that you get that are 99 milligrams of potassium are sort of worthless. And I wish I could remember the podcast. I don't think I read it. I think I heard it in a podcast. Why 99 is the dosage that you find on supplement pills. And it had to do with something years ago. It was given by IV at the hospital, and they just settled on that dosage. And so when it became a supplement of the people, they just kept that dosage without really doing anything to it. The other thing is, you can get salt substitute, and I think that has per quarter of a teaspoon, if I remember correctly, is like 370 milligrams. So if you take about 3/4 of a teaspoon of that, you get the same amount of potassium as in this. But I have trouble enough having salt in the first place. I don't want to all of a sudden be using salt substitutes. Now, the thing that you need to know about this, oh, that's the back of it. Nope, that's the front of it, just to show you that. It's sort of tasty. I add a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. I just squeeze a lemon into it, and a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and I have it with ice cubes. It's very good. But there is stevia in this. So if you, and I'm not a stevia person, I'm one of these ones who tastes the anise, like there's a licorice flavor. I think 50% of the population taste this when they have stevia, and 50% don't. And I'm in the 50% that just hates things sweetened with stevia. And when I first had it, I didn't care for it, but when I added the lemon juice and the apple cider vinegar, it actually became quite a pleasant beverage. Let me just show you. This is the size scoop I use in my 16-ounce cup of water. My coach takes it with meals because she finds that she has a reaction when she has stevia. It is very insulinogenic, by the way. It doesn't raise blood sugar, but for some people it can really raise your insulin. And she had been having stevia in her coffee. That was her sweetener of choice. And she, for the longest time, was not losing weight, was not getting her ketones up. And I told her about this podcast that I listened to that explained about stevia being insulinogenic. And she stopped it cold turkey. And like the first week she lost 5 pounds, and the next week maybe another 5. And her ketones went way up. So it just shows she's somebody who is sensitive to it. But she finds if she takes this with a meal, it doesn't raise anything. It doesn't wreak havoc on her. Her insulin is raised anyway because she's eating, and then she just adds this as her beverage. So those are the 2 things I wanted to show you today. The way the light is on it, I want to make sure you see it. Dr. Berg's electrolyte powder and this heavy cream. And one other thing that I wanted to share with you, I had started a couple of projects before all of this happens with my sister. And I had my girlfriend is always after me to read or listen to Eckhart Tolle. I listen to him, he puts me to sleep. So I don't dare listen to him in the car. And that's where I do my listening. But I thought this would be fun to get this. And what it is cards like The Power of Now, and it'll have a saying, rising above thought, and there'll be a saying, the joy of being, and there'll be a saying. And let me just pick one off the top from that Power of Now. The Power of Now. Okay, so do not be concerned with the fruit of your action. Just give attention to the action itself. The fruit will come of its own accord. This is a powerful spiritual practice. Oh, wow. It is so neat that I picked this card out of all of them. It wasn't on the top. I sort of shuffled through them because I don't set weight loss goals for myself. I know what I'd like to weigh. I know by the summer I'd like to get into a certain size, that sort of thing. But I'm really not a weight loss goal setter because I believe that if I give attention to my action, the fruit will take care of itself. I think sometimes, like when my coach wasn't losing weight and we got to the bottom of it and realized it was the stevia, sometimes you have to pay attention. Well, actually, it's paying attention to the action. She was paying attention to, what could be causing this, and it turns out it was the stevia. For me, I started with that carb manager at the beginning of the week, and so my action was, if I track, I always lose weight. It has nothing to do with the calories I put in. Even the macros are kind of fluid, but the point is it brings a certain mindfulness to what I'm eating. I said that if I could just really be mindful, I wouldn't need the tracking, but I get away from mindfulness. And so for me, the attention to the action was to start up the tracking again. And the fruit, which for me will be weight loss, will come of its own accord, and so will the higher ketones. So this is just really good. What I'm hoping with the tracking is that as I do it and I become mindful and I say, okay, well, if I have the salad at lunch and I have it with the half of avocado and the couple of tablespoons of feta cheese, and that's like 13 protein, then I can have something mid-protein. A plate full of shrimps will not do it. That really threw me out. I mean, they're so high in protein, and even if you add fat, because it's not a natural fat like a ribeye, it still wasn't good for me. And so I told you on this carb manager, you can put your blood sugar in and you can put your ketones in. So it's sort of fun to track. Like when I had the shrimp, my ketones were practically non-existent. And a couple of days later, after the shrimp was out of my system, my blood sugar had gone down. My fasting blood sugar had gone down about 20 points in the morning. It went from 138 to maybe 116. It'll go down again. It'll go down again. I know the stress had a lot to do with it. And I know my ketones will go back up. So this is just a really apt card. Just do what you have to do, and things will take care of what they have to be taken care of. That grammatically made no sense, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so listen, nice to see you from home, and have a good evening. Stay warm. It's freezing here in the Northeast. And I know it's cold everywhere else, and ice and snow where you don't expect it. So anyway, listen, have a good night. Stay warm. Stay ketofied. I don't know. I'll make up a word. Bye-bye. So listen, Miriam from Keto My Way.